Welcome back to Sunshine Hollow. Today I'm in the greenhouse. I've been potting up for quite some time now, but I thought I'd just give you a little breakdown on how I'm getting these plants that have been in the channel trays into bigger containers. So I'm just potting up the red flame celosia that I've got. I didn't get the greatest germination on it, so there's just a few. But here are the tools I need for pricking. So I always just use a pen. This pen is going to be destroyed. I'm definitely going to ruin it. It's working for right now. And so to begin, I simply take my pen into the tray and lift the seedling, trying not to hurt its roots. Here's the seedling. I always hold my seedlings by their leaves. This is what I was taught in college, just because you know, they can always grow more leaves, but if you pinch this really fragile stem, there's no going back from there. So I always go with the leaves. And then I'm taking my pen, making a little circle in the soil and pushing those roots down into the hole and covering it back up. So you don't want to bury the stems more than they were in their soil, unless you're talking with tomatoes, in which case you're going to want to like bury them up to their leaves, because all of that stem will turn to roots. But with most things, especially flowers, that's definitely not the case. You also want to be potting into already moistened soil, just as to not shock the roots. And lastly, I mean, you're just not wanting to leave any roots out of the soil. If you can see roots, they're going to shrivel and die from air. So you want to make sure everything is tucked in under the soil. Here is how the greenhouse has been looking these days. Plants are just pumping out. Everything looks great. And our fruit trees are in here. We ended up buying 6 fruit trees, 2 peaches, 2 plums, and 2 Liberty apples from a local friend. And they were all blossoming, as you can see. So beautifully. And if it freezes and they lose those blossoms, then they unfortunately won't fruit. So, you know, we could have easily left them outside, but they just wouldn't have fruited for us this year. So we decided to crowd the greenhouse even more than it already is and shove them in here. When I walk into the goat stall this morning, this is what I see. Right when I think it may be time to move these baby chickens out of here. Holy cow. Look at this one. What are you doing in there? Is that your nest? Oh my goodness. So today we are going to be planting my second round of sweet peas. I've had them in this jar overnight. It is super crucial when you're planting sweet peas to soak them overnight, just to soften their really hard seed coat. This is my second succession, so I've already done one succession about 3 weeks ago. I'm having pretty spotty germination. It may be just because of how cold it is and that the seeds are breaking down their seed coats and they're waiting for the weather to warm up a little bit. So we'll see how the germination improves as the temperatures go up, especially the night temperatures. It's the past couple weeks have been like highs of 35 at night, 25 even, and today marks the day that that's going to change. So up at midnight, checking on the goats, and it was like 60 degrees. So I think our days of cold night temps are, dare I say, over? I hope so. So the hope is that as the first round of sweet peas are tapering down and their blooms are dying off, these will just be starting to bloom or getting close to that, so that I can have a steady succession of sweet pea blooms throughout the season. So, real talk about flower farming. The key to success that I've found in all my research, in all that I've seen, in all that I've heard, is succession sowing. If you are not keeping up with your succession sowing, you're gonna find yourself in a hard place of running out of blooms. It's most important with those blooms that are singular on a plant. So like celosia, who only puts off one flower per plant or so, you know, sometimes more, but most commonly one flower per plant. With zinnias or, you know, like cosmos, I'm not as worried because I've seen them be crazy prolific even with heavy harvesting throughout the season. I'll do a couple succession sowings just because I don't know yet and I don't want to be stuck in a hard place. But with the celosias, I'm doing successions at least every 2 weeks so that I can just have continual blooms. So as well as sweet pea sowing today, I think we have plans to plant our potatoes. Mitch and I have no experience growing potatoes at small scale. I've grown them and seen their process on the farms that I've worked on, but personally, I've never tended to my own potato plants, and I'm really, really, really excited. I eat a lot of potatoes in my life. I think to have them in our own backyard is going to be fantastic. So, this is what we're going to be growing our potatoes in. These pots are called Smart Pots. This is in no way an ad for Smart Pots. I have no affiliation with them, unless you'd like to. But I get them from Fruition, where I work. We endorse these in a big way. Smart Pots are fantastic in that your plants are never going to get root bound. So they'll be able to, sorry, I just saw someone I knew drive by. You'll be able to plant right in here, put the soil right in the pot. It's actually fabric. It's made of recycled plastic material. And the roots will come out, feel the air, and turn around and go back in, rather than wrapping around and around and around the smooth plastic of a pot. So that's why we really love them, as well as they're really, really good at regulating moisture. They do get a little drier than just planting in regular soil, so you're going to want to keep up with watering. And as well as you're not planting into a living soil. So you're also going to want to be fertilizing when you're planting in any container, but also when you're planting in these Smart Pots. So the medium that we're growing in these Smart Pots is probably 30% soil that we sifted, maybe 30% of our compost, and that leaves probably 20% of a pro mix that we bought, and then some fertilizer to finish it off.